Good evening and salutations, my Days of Alive fans. Uh, you know what? Let's start off with Rafe and Nicole. So yesterday, you know that Rafe was in the beginning process of proposing to Nicole. So starts off the exact same way. He proposes, and she just has that look on her face, and after a while, he's like, my knee's kind of hurting. Am I gonna get an answer sometime soon, or was good? So Nicole gets him up, and she's like, "Listen, we gotta sit there and talk for a second." But before she even does that, Rafe just has this look on his face, like he looks at her, and he's like, "You don't want to get married, do you?" Now, I'm gonna be completely honest. I feel like this whole marriage thing came out the blue. I mean, they haven't really been dating that long, and she literally less than a year already filed for divorce. And you just decided, fine, whatever. Let's get married. We only been dating for a little bit, and it's not that long ago before you got your divorce. But yeah, let's get married. Like it just seemed like it just came out of nowhere. And at first, I wanted to know the reason why Nicole didn't want to get married. I figured it had something to do with the fact that she was already married not that long ago. It didn't really work out. I mean, yeah, she kind of jumped right back into a relationship. Was just like, okay, whatever. But to sit there and get remarried again to somebody else, it just seemed like it was a little bit too fast for her. So I thought that was going to be the answer. Instead, she asked Rafe, like, what brought this on? I'm like, that's not really an answer. He's asking you, why don't you want to get married? And you answer a question with a question. That's frustrating as hell. Not just for marriage, but just in general. So, she asked him, like, what brought this on? At first, she's kind of, upset. And they talk about it, and I mean, Eric was kind of a push, but he wasn't a deciding factor, you know? So, after a few minutes, she's like, all right, ask me again. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like, I don't know, it's something that just seems so discombobulated about this whole scene. I mean, he asks her to marry him, and she doesn't really give him an answer. She questions with a question, and then they bring up Eric, and it was just like, you're not really saying no. You're not saying yes. I mean, but she does ask him again, and he says it, and she says yes, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know. I don't feel like Nicole has exactly the best track record when it comes towards relationships, but okay, sure, why not? Now let's talk about Eric for a minute. So Eric gets a call from, I guess, the priesthood, basically firing him. And when he first gets down there, they start talking about Sarah and how Sarah's like holed up in her room. I mean, in his room and everything like that. But it doesn't violate any sort of priesthood or whatever. So it's whatever. Then he gets that call, and again, he got fired from being a priest. And Roman's like, why? Now I knew the answer the minute that he said that they were that they were removing him from the priesthood, and it was because of The Exorcist. To be honest, I'm surprised he didn't get fired. He didn't get let go the first time. He said that he got a slap on the wrist. Thing about these exorcisms is that they got to be sanctioned by the priesthood, and that takes a while. That takes as long as it takes, but they want to make sure, I don't know the ins and outs and the rules or whatever, but they want to make sure that it is sanctioned by the church before they can do anything. Um, and of course, it's his family. Obviously, he's not going to sit there and be waiting to get anything done. But I guess it's one of those things where it's like, let's just put it this way: sometimes these things can go sideways, like really sideways, really bad, and it's also a safety issue. Um, you look at the exorcism of Emily Rose. Now, I'm going to be honest, even though that's a new movie, there's certain parts of that movie that still creep me out. But, the dude was on trial because he performed an exorcism and it went sideways, like as in death. Um, so, for many reasons, it's just you need their blessing before you decide to even do something like that. And so now he's upset, and Kate, oh my goodness. Kate's like, well, they're on the bright side. I'm waiting, Kate. What's the bright side? I mean, I literally just lost the job that I love, like my being, my whole existence, why I feel like I was here on this earth. Please, Kate, tell me, what's the bright side of all this? Well, now that you're not a priest, you can sit there and, be with Nicole again. What the Now that he's not a priest, he could be with Nicole again. He could be with the woman who cheated. I just. I had to sit with that one for a minute. So now that he doesn't get to do his life work anymore, his being, his soul that he put into his work, he gets to sit there and reconnect with the woman who cheated on him and broke his heart and his trust. That made sense for her to say. Okay, all right. If I sit here and I think about this any longer, this video is gonna be too long. Let's just put it that way. So after that, Eric is like, "What are you nuts? She's with somebody else." On top of the fact that she cheated on me, but she's with somebody else. And he seems like he's getting mad at Nicole, and Roman steps in, and Roman's like, well, she's just there trying to look on the bright side of things. So this conversation obviously go nowhere, and Roman's like, listen, let's just table this conversation for tomorrow, whenever. And Kate's like, are you sure about that? Kate, I swear, I I don't know where her brains is at. I really don't. And she's like, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Yeah, because it's gonna look so much. This conversation is gonna look so much better tomorrow. Okay. All right. So that was a thing. Now at the end of the episode, Eric is in deep thought and he's closing up shop and he sits there and he looks like he wants to sit there and take a drink. I don't know what his history is with alcohol. No, Brady doesn't drink because of, well, the extremely bad choices he was making before. I don't know what's the deal with Eric, but yeah. So maybe he's not there thinking about getting back together with Nicole. I'm gonna be honest, that might be kind of laughable. That might be kind of laughable. Can you imagine? You imagine he stays in town after she just said yes to his marriage and spending more time with Eric, and then she decides to cheat on rape with Eric. I feel like that would cause for another celebration, like another cake celebration. Because can you imagine? Can you imagine the fact that he went behind Ava's back and cheated on her with Nicole, who cheated on her, well, ex-husband at the time, and then she cheats on him. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. That would be bad, obviously, but that would be like, oof, that'd be something. And I'm not using it to saying this just to sound like a dick, because I know I am, but it's just like, bro, you cheated, and now you got cheated by the same person who you cheated with. It's Rafe. It's Rafe Hernandez, always making the most best choices one can possibly make with so many options. Okay. So Kate is examining Trip, and he's not just saying he's doing well. Besides the superficial, wounds or whatever, he's checking out. He's good. He'll be going tomorrow, pretty much. Um, Ava's like, listen, I want to talk to you outside. Because at first she was like, are you sure? She was like, I want to talk to you outside. And at first I was like, Ava, what is it now, Ava? What is it now? But Ava's like, I want to apologize. She wanted to apologize for the things that she said when Trip was pronounced dead. And, even though Kayla was like, no, it's okay, you're a mother, and, these things happen, and it's fine. I was just like, man, I really wish you would be so forgiving, because she came at you, like, real nasty. Like, nasty enough to the point where even though a trip is okay, I still felt like she'd been like, nah, it's cool. I mean, it's not really cool. We're never going to be okay, but, like, I accept your apology, but we ain't cool, you know? We are definitely not cool for so many reasons. But the fact that you undermined her as a doctor, you undermined her love for Trip, and you said something that was really cruel at the worst possible time when she just lost a patient, and you say something like that, and her answer just not high school, no big deal, whatever. Like, what? Are you on drugs? Like, no. No, 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 no. Just no. And it's not Smith is saying because I could be a very petty person. I cannot do the whole forgive and forget thing. It's just a simple fact that she says something to you that bad and you're just like, no, it's fine. It's okay. It's whatever. Like I feel like people who take things like that so well are people who bottle up their emotions so much to the point where when it comes out, they don't know how to sit there and control it. This is one of those things where it's like, I'm not opposed to being zen and just kind of like whatever, but at some point, if you don't release those emotions, they come to build up in you, and you release it on the wrong type of people, as opposed to finding a way to, release that anger, that energy. Anyway, she apologizes. She gets a really good, nice apology. Thanks her for being good to Trip, even inspiring him to be a doctor, and even trying to inspire Ava to be a better person. Trying. Now I know that Ava has a sort of past at the end, say the least. I can admire her for her dedication to that they're trying to do better. You know, she was willing to sit there and get Gwen out of jail, even though she didn't really have to do it. She tried to turn over a whole different life for her son to be good to Rafe, regardless of how the fact that Rafe treated her like trash. She's trying. Okay, there's certain sins that I just can't forgive, and I mean I got to sit there and read up a little bit more. But from what I understand, and yeah, I'm gonna sit there and throw this up. When Ava forced Steve to have sex with her in order to save Kayla's life, because as we all know, that is essentially RAPE. Let's just be real. Um, and that's a sin that I just can't really forgive. Can't forgive that. Can't forgive what Todd did. Certain things you just can't forgive. But you know, I don't want to sit there and just constantly bash her every day for that, even though that's the truth of the matter. Um, Try to look at it from different perspectives, and that's why I sit there and say that I admire her for her trying to be a better person. And we'll leave it at that. After that, she goes back to Jake, and Jake is pissed off because Jake decided for some odd reason that it was a good idea to crash Gabby's date with Shen to sit there and be like, oh, That's some papers I want you to sit there and sign. You can't put this up tomorrow when you could do today. Doop, 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 doop. Like, nah, bro, come on. Kick rocks. But Shen is like, yo, why don't you stay? And Jake is like, nah, it's cool. I'm gonna go back. And then he leaves, and then he's all angry. I'm like, bro, whatever. Well, bottom line, he winds up having sex with Ava, and then, he has a look of regret, and, he wants to sit there and be with Gabby, but he can't, let his pride, he can't get past his pride. Now, Shen, is like, yo, you sure that you and Jake are going to be able to work together? Because, usually work and exes and things of that nature, when you start putting feelings in with people and work, it doesn't end so well. You sure you can sit there and keep things personal and professional? I was there looking at this whole thing. I was like, bro, you do realize that she flirted with you the entire time to make him jealous, took you out to dinner, and has this whole thing like she wants to sit there and have sex with you, and you're sitting there giving her a lecture about why it's not good to really sit there and miss business with pleasure as far as like you and Jake being cool. But you're out there doing the same thing with like, did I miss something? I just he asks her back. He asks her to go back to his hotel, and at first she is hesitant, but then she goes, and then she's more hesitant, and then she brings up, oh well, your dad is the head of some company or whatever, and Shen's like, nah, it's cool. We're gonna be equals. We're gonna be good. I'm not gonna screw you over. Like Jake, we're gonna be good. And with that being said, she kind of just jumped into something that she didn't really want to do. Let's just be very, very, very clear. She did not probably want to have sex with him. Okay, she did it to make Jake jealous. But since she felt like she was already putting on a show, you know, and not like kind of stop or whatever. Because let's be honest, it was sort of the same way when she tried to hook up with Philip. She hooked up with Philip, and then she stopped. And Philip was a lot more nicer than other people probably should have been. I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't have to sit there and be abusive, but you can be upset at being, cock teased. Let's just be honest. Um, she started hooking up with him, and then she was like, I can't do it. But with Shen, she felt like she had to kind of go through with it a little bit. I mean, you can see the look on her face when, he invited her back, and he was like, oh, well, if you don't want to do it. No, I want to do it. I want to do it. It's like, you really don't want to do it, but okay, sure. And it's like she was trying to convince herself making out with him and having sex with him was the best option, when in reality she knew that she didn't feel that way. She didn't. And I think this is where, a lot of guys, most guys, I don't want to sit there and say a lot of guys, most guys will be like, yo, listen, if you don't want to do this, I feel like your heart's not in it, you don't have to do this. It's cool. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there and feel like I push or pressure somebody into doing something that they didn't want to do. If you didn't want to do it, that's cool. It's no big deal, But it's worse when they're doing it with somebody, and then they have regret, and you feel like you're responsible. That doesn't do any good for anyone. So, on I guess on that level, maybe Shen should have already been like, yo, listen, I don't think you want to do this. You don't want to do this. I don't think you want to do this. I think you should sit there and wait. Most people probably would have backed up at that point in time. Especially since Shen in the beginning kind of realized that he was only being flirted with to make somebody else jealous, but whatever. She wound up having sex with him, and then, she turns over and she has that look of regret. Now at some point Steve and Kayla was there talking about Trip. Because, Trip explained to them that, him and Allie just not going to work because, well, he's not going to sit there and have his attention, her heart be divided between him and somebody else. He's just not doing it. And he has too much respect for himself. So he's not doing that. But, as they were sitting there leaving, because he was like, listen, I'm just going to sit there and watch some TV and just go to sleep. They didn't feel right about just leaving him there and just having a good time, knowing that, he's stuck in the hospital. He has a broken heart. And he's there by himself. They weren't going to do that. So they came back, they got some pizzas and stuff like that, and they all just, just kind of hung out with him. And I actually, tell you the truth, I thought that was a really nice moment. Because I can imagine if they just decided to just go out and, go eat dinner and hang out and talk and chill and just be like, nah, that's cool. He's fine. He's by himself, but he's fine. No! Of course they were going to do that. And like I said, I thought it was a nice thing. Oh, if I didn't say it, and I might have forgot to sit there and say, Nicole said yes to Ray's proposal. So that's going to be a fun little adventure that's probably going to end up with somebody being in tears. Yep. Well, somebody's going to be in tears. At the end of this ride to being called fiance and fiance or whatever, fiance or whatever, is going to end up in tears. It's going to end up in tears. And I feel like it's going to be another great, epic, and another moment. Days has been killing it with those moments. Yes, they have. I feel like that's about it. I really do. So with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.